Lines. Some are made to be crossed.
Like a finish line, for example.
And some are made to be managed, like this one.
Other lines, however, should not be crossed. And today we would like to talk to you about one of those lines.
A line called sexual harassment.
The management of this theater hopes that you're truly excited about your new job. It's bound to be a great opportunity for you to gain experience, earn income, and enjoy a fun work environment. But those two words, fun and work, need to be kept in their proper perspective. And that's true here at the theater, or just about anywhere you might be working in the future.
That's right. And while you should enjoy working here, you should also realize that the rules and conduct of a workplace are far different from that of school, home, or anywhere else. A place of business brings together a diverse group of people each and every day. People with different ideas about what's acceptable and what's not, about what's funny and what's in poor taste, and about what's harmless fun and what's harassment. In recent years, guidelines for the workplace have evolved from the actions of governmental agencies and various court decisions. We're going to review some guidelines and some do's and don'ts, so there won't be much question about what behavior is acceptable and what is considered sexual harassment. If there is ever any question about what conduct is or isn't appropriate, you should ask your theater manager. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission defines sexual harassment in two different types of behavior. The first is when an individual feels that their employment is affected by whether they submit to or reject a supervisor's sexual advances. Now, a sexual advance can just mean that someone touches you in an unwelcome sexual way. It could also mean that a supervisor propositions you or pressures you for a date. If, for example, a possible promotion depends on your acceptance of the advances, that's sexual harassment, and that's illegal.
You know, Kelly, I think you'd be a strong candidate for the supervisor's job that's coming open.
Awesome, I'd love that job.
Well, why don't we talk about it over dinner tomorrow night? You don't have a boyfriend, do you?
Well,
I'll call you at home tonight, and we'll set it up. I know a great Mexican place we could go to. We'll talk about it then.
If something like this happens to you, report the incident to the supervisor who's been designated to handle such complaints. You should be told, if you haven't already, names of the people at your company who handle such complaints. You just need to pick the one you're most comfortable talking to. They've been trained on the steps to take in such situations. And if your complaint is against that supervisor, your theater has listed the name of another person in the organization to whom you can speak. The second type of harassment is something called hostile work environment. This type of harassment does not influence whether an employee could lose their job or a promotion, but rather the workplace becomes a hostile environment due to offensive acts or comments. Since there's a great deal of social interaction among the staff, employees can sometimes get too familiar with one another. As a result, you need to be aware that employee banter, suggestive comments, dirty jokes, or touching and grabbing can all be construed as sexual harassment.
Sure, you may have meant it in fun or to get a good laugh, but it's how your comment is received that counts. If you cross the line, it could be big trouble both for you and for the theater, and that's not worth the laugh you may have been going for. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who dreads going to work every day because they deem the environment to be unpleasant, offensive, or hostile. People shouldn't have to live with that high degree of tension in their life. Sometimes something as seemingly harmless as calling a person baby or honey is not professional behavior and is not acceptable if it is unwelcome or makes another person uncomfortable.
hey, I'll clean that up for you, Chris.
Hey, thanks. I'm really busy right now.
Hey, anything for you, honey.
Enjoy the movie.
Man, Chris, did you see that?
Well, you just tell me why you won't go out with me and I'll let you in. Yeah. Just tell me what's so bad about me and I'll let you right in. What's wrong? Is a movie theater usher just not quite good enough for you?
What's a girl with a body like yours doing in a place like this? You ought to be someplace else tonight. Like maybe my place.
Hey, Angel, you ever seen this movie? This guy gets it on with like 10 different girls. Man, I'd love to get action like that. Wouldn't you?
If someone tells you that they don't like a comment or action, don't do it again. And although the majority of harassment incidents are due to a male's action towards a female, it's not surprising for men to file complaints as well. And also be aware that not all harassment cases revolve around lewd or suggestive comments. Nonverbal actions, intentional or not, can create a hostile work environment as well. For instance, touching someone in an effort to get past them in a tight space could make a person uncomfortable and be construed as harassment. And what may be appropriate advertising in the lobby, when taken out of context or altered, would not be acceptable in employee areas. It may seem harmless to you, but it could be crossing the line to someone else. And many problems can be circumvented simply by not putting yourself in a situation that someone else can interpret in the wrong way.
Now, over the course of working here, you may in fact meet someone whom you are attracted to and that you'd like to get to know better. For example, my co-host has a big crush on me, and that's fine. I mean, that's normal. But as a general rule of thumb, if you ask someone out and are turned down, don't bring it up again unless that person has made it clear that they're interested. When it comes to sexual harassment, it's better to play things on the safe side than on the risky. Keep this in mind as well. Even if you are not the victim of harassment, if you believe that you have observed a situation that is serious or persistent enough to constitute sexual harassment, you should report the incident to a manager or a designated supervisor. Now, the idea here is not to file a complaint at the drop of a hat. If you feel comfortable doing so, first make an effort to make your feelings known and ask the party in question to please stop.
You know, I really don't appreciate your comments every time you come in here. Please stop it. It makes me uncomfortable.
I really don't appreciate the way you call me baby and honey all the time and the way you look at me. I know you're just having fun, but this is work, okay?
Chris, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know it offended you. I'm sorry.
So, if you've asked them to stop and the problem persists, the next step is to file a complaint. The extent of the management's actions or the investigation will depend on the circumstances of your complaint. In addition to describing the event in question, you may be asked to provide the names of any witnesses, and you may be asked to sign a statement that reflects the facts of your complaint. It might happen something like this.
Okay, Kate, I think we've got it all here.
What happens now?
Well, if there is a formal investigation, I'll do everything I can to keep this all confidential. But in the process of the investigation, some details might come out.
Well, what will you do to him? Will he lose his job?
Well, keep in mind that this is an investigation, Kate. My job now is just to discern what actually happened and if it was legally what you would call sexual harassment.
Oh, it was all right.
Oh, I understand. After we investigate, I'll make a recommendation, and if disciplinary measures are needed, we'll act immediately. We'll let you know the results of the investigation. We're aware this is a serious matter.
In the end, think of it this way. This theater is a lot like our country. It's made up of people with different ideas regarding just about everything. Everyone has a different comfort level when it comes to language, social activities, even personal space. Just like not everyone here will share your views on politics, religion, music, or even the movies, you must respect the rights that other individuals have in regard to behavior in the workplace. And it's not just a good idea, it's the law.
So remember, have fun at your job, but be professional, be courteous, and think about the feelings of others.
And if you find yourself approaching that line of what's permissible, don't cross it.
It just isn't worth it, folks. Everyone's experience at the theater should be a good one. The customers, the other employees, and yourself. So be sure you do everything you can to make that happen.